So we're at the start of a very busy week for Duel Links, right? Of course, first of all, we now have Tiger in the game, unlockable on the 24th, her event is now live, you can go and farm her cards. We'll talk about those in a future video. We've got Worlds happening on the 30th, and so we're expecting some big news regarding the end of September, like last year, potentially also a Speed Duel box coming on the day, or 2 days later, around that time, so we'll talk about that as well. There's also a big new campaign, first of all, is a login campaign giving us a bunch of Chronicle chips, gems, dream tickets, SR ones only, but still, that's pretty cool. And of course, the prediction campaign, where if you go and vote for Speed Duel and for Rush Duel, you're gonna get a bunch more gems, which is, you know, really cool. Free stuff, you can't complain. We've also got a update to the Friend Invite campaign, giving us a new starter deck on the 2nd. This is interesting because obviously Konami might tie in with Worlds and having that be a big push, but we usually see this Friend Invite campaign be alongside, at least in Master Duel, a major anniversary update. This coming so early just feels a little bit weird, but it'll be cool to finally retire the Blue Eyes deck and get something a bit more relevant. Hopefully it's better than Blue Eyes, or maybe even has new cards rather than just reprints. That'd be cool. The big thing, of course, is the brand new box Extreme Overload coming out on the 25th, so 1 day exactly after Tiger's event. Now, that's a bit weird, right? We kind of expected going into this month that we'd get the box announced at Worlds, but given there's a speed box as well, and I kind of want to have that one releasing for the KC Cup, there's going to be either them dropping at the same time or a 3-day gap, and so I think I'm, at least want to give a bit of a gap between them, which is why we're getting it early, which I'm all for. Let's go to the brand new box, of course, getting Magnum Overlord support, Psychic Cyber Dragon. There's a lot here, and a lot of stuff we weren't expecting to be getting. Some of it revealed yesterday, some of it not. So, first of all, is the new UR card, Supreme Machine Burning Overlord. Now, it's not a maximum. It's a main deck monster that you can summon, now attributing, if there's a max on your field. So not the big 3-piece one, but of course, just like any piece, and of course with a skill Yuga, that can cheat the ones out from the hand. So, you would summon a big 1900 body, then summon this, and it can go up to 300 tap points and not destroy card effects for an entire 2 turns, which is really, really solid. This card wasn't very good in the OCG, but in Duel Links with that skill, there is a chance it could be a little bit better. But it's been over a year since Maximum spawned Duel Links, and so this is very much appreciated. Then we've got the VI Friend, of course getting a skill. We talked about this one. This is a fine card. It can pop card opponent's field if there is the 5 materials in a graveyard, which there's the skill to go and dump things with. There's other cards coming, like the Psychic Composition, which can also dump cards from the deck to the graveyard. There's also as well, I believe down here, this one, the Illuminator, which again dumps cards to the graveyard. So all kind of focusing on getting this pop off, which could take 5 turns, right? It could take 2. Will it be better than current Psychic though? That is the big question. We've then got Cyber Tactical Dragon, one of my favourite looking cards in Rush Duel. I'm not too sure how good this is going to be. Right, so of course it requires a Soul Dragon plus Cyber Dragon, you shelve 2 graveyard back to the deck, then pop 2 monsters with combined attack less than each of his cards, which means there's a lot of things in Duel Links that can't be destroyed, right? Bunch of maximums, you've got the Galactic Oblivion can't be, you've got the big 7-red Fusion, that can't be, but there's plenty you can pop, which is good. Maybe you've got to combine this with Tasmic Seal Array, right? Deep up a monster, and then go popping, or popping 2, in the mid-game is not bad, right? It's just those bosses that you are going to kind of struggle with, outside of just summoning Cyber and Dragon and hoping there is no Shiny Shady. And of course, we've got Divine Breath, the Orchestral Music Fiend, sent to 3 mana to graveyard, control by trap effects, deals piercing, and gains attack if it was summoned this turn. It can become 6000, deal piercing, and then you combine it with something like, say, your Trombeau, which mills 2 from the deck, 1 from your hand to draw 1, then can put a card into defense mode, easily setting up this for dealing really big piercing damage. You've also got, surprisingly, Battle Ballet. Now, we have Miracle Fusion, the heroes, right? Limit 1, bar bundle. Konami went, you know what, screw that, let's give Tiger a card at limit 3, and so this is going to be really, really, really good. Making 2 of these in 1 turn, give it piercing, they could become 4,000 each, go and use the effect of the Trombeau to make that live. You can see a bunch of OTKs happening with these cards. Now the big downside, of course, is that you've got to have 5 more wins in the graveyard. And so, early game, it's kind of dead, but the skill does search out your fusion, so that's not all too bad. Of course, Digazoon is also an SR, that's your material. which, you know, gets better with the straight pierce we're getting as a normal, which is really surprising. This suddenly makes Digazun a really good boss on its own. Becomes 4,400, plus its effect making him, you know, even bigger, and then piercing. This card is going to steal games. That combo. You probably only play one of this, right? You're not going to rely on it, but that's still really, really fun. We've then got Dragon Geist, which, when we saw the skill for Luke leak, right, we thought, okay, Metagears could be coming, these kind of things, but no, we've got this. And this supports your Slayer, your Demolish, I think it is, that we got a couple of boxes ago. Does that mean we're getting Luke's skill? And this just brings back a copy of itself from your graveyard by shoving 2 monsters in your opponent's graveyard back to the deck, which is pretty cool for card advantage-wise. It's kind of like a different version of Seal's Carrier in a weird way. You know, getting cards out of your opponent's graveyard is really big. You think against Metarion, right? Getting those actors out of the graveyard back to the deck could be big. Or even against things like Music Princesses, right? You know, you're getting those fusion materials out of the graveyard, so they can't go and draw into Music Princess Dance and then go and fusion summon. Of course, we know Harvey. Collection Box reprint now available. That is fantastic. Thank you for finally giving us to the game. It only took, you know, 11 months. Only 11 months. We've also got a new trap card. Destruction of the Universe. Now, this I don't like. First of all, right, pay 3,000 to pop an attack monster. It can't be used against most Maximums, against like Galaxy, against 7-0 Charmy Witch, you know, this fusion, and so it feels like the classic Rush Duel Duel Links thing of, you know, releasing a okay trap card way beyond the point where the metagame has evolved to this not being relevant. So I don't see this card being any good, but also, you know, paying 3,000 in 6k life points is really rough. You know, a lot of times in Rush Duel, you'll find that your life points are gone down to below 3,000 easily on turn 2. So this doesn't really seem like a great use of an SR slot, but it's a trap card, so we'll take it. Right, we'll take it. Then we've got Cyber Serpent, and this card is really, really good, but I don't think it's that good in Duel Links right now. Right, milling 3 is great. Then if you mill 2 more light monsters, you draw 1. That's fine. The problem is there's nothing really good to do with the mill in Cyber Dragon. Of course, it can turn on potentially your Soul Dragon, right, to pop a card. But then you've also got your Cyber Entry, which can bring one back. Sure, that's fine as well. But this card is the main thing, right? Cyber Rush Fusion. This really would have been insane to get, and kind of changed my outlook on the Cyber Dragon stuff in this box. But also, you've got to remember, right, is that Processor is currently in a selection box that's not available. So the classic Konami has struck again, which is always very, very fun. We've then got Heavenly Gift, which is more maximum support, right? It's a draw 2 if you send a middle max piece to graveyard, or, you know, you could send a level 8 and a 2. Speaking of that, the final card-ish is the new Supreme Beast Dream Magnum Overlord. Now, this middle piece by itself is perfectly fine, right? Big body, comes by trap effects, that's normal. Its other pieces are where things get interesting. So first of all, it's the left piece that gives this card attack points up to the monster opponent's field. So if they've got 3, it goes to 5,000. Then if there's 10 more monsters in your graveyard, it gains piercing, which is something Maxims have kind of struggled with in Duel Links, right? You know, Drago could deal with defensive monsters by flipping the face off and attacking in. Magnum Overlord, you couldn't really do much beyond playing pierce in your deck. This card hasn't really got to deal with that, which is good. We've then got the controversial part, and that's the right piece. And this is a floodgate. During the turn your opponent's special level 5 monsters, they can't use the effects level 10 lowers. And so in Duel Links, that's basically everything. You floodgate them if they try to play the game against you. Now, they can, of course, go for normal summons, go for a spell card pops, right? They can try and go for their Oblivion. That's not going to work. So, in some respects, this card is kind of being an anti-meta pick, which is good, but it's also a floodgate. And we kind of hate floodgates in general in Yu-Gi-Oh!, so it's a bit of a mixed bag. Now, what else is here? Well, we've got the Viator, which is not all that great. More Music Princess stuff, that's fine. Heavenly Selection is a back removal, again, for your Maximum deck. Right, I don't think this card will see play in many other decks. I think Maximum decks, it is kind of like a beeline. You put this in, and it's really good, because Maxims also don't have to deal with Shiny Shady. There is no risk of this card being stopped before you can get to it. Downside is, I've not got very many gems, so I'm going to have to get farming, and hopefully we can do a box opening video, all that kind of things when it starts to drop on the 25th. Around then, right? So look forward to that one. Adios.